Did you know that the white balance tool in your camera is the least creatively utilized tool in photography? Do you use it for creative purposes, or do you use it only to neutralize your image? In this video, you're going to learn how to use your white balance tool in your camera and your software to create stunning photographs. Hey guys, I'm a fashion and a wildlife photographer from New York, and I am here to make photography easy. There are three things that I'm going to speak about in white balance. Number one, what is white balance? Number two, should we shoot it in JPEG or should we shoot it in RAW? And the third thing, which is the most important thing about white balance, is the mood, the creativity, and that is number three. All right, the first one is, what is white balance? White balance is simply you, the photographer, telling your camera, hey buddy, I'm shooting early in the morning, or I'm shooting in the afternoon, or I'm shooting in the evening. That's all you are doing. That is what white balance is. What you're trying to do there is you're trying to tell your camera what you see in the frame that is white should remain white. And that's the reason why you're telling your camera at what time of the day you are shooting.
I don't feel my face. The wind is gusting. It's insane.
Us as humans, we get up in the morning and we see things, and then in the evening we are seeing things. Our eyes adjust to the color temperature that there is early in the morning because the sun is low. In mid-afternoon, the sun is up. In the evening, the sun is low on the other side, so it's a little bit orange. So the color temperature shifts. Our eyes and brain work together, so the eyes are adjusting constantly to keep everything in a neutral state. It doesn't happen in the camera. The camera doesn't have the brain that we do, right? So we have to tell the camera we are shooting in the morning or we're shooting in the evening. And once you tell the camera you're shooting in the morning and you're shooting in the evening, the camera is going to give you the right colors. I can get into Kelvin temperatures, right? That chart is available on Google. Just Google Kelvin numbers, you'll have it. And then based on that chart, you can just set your color temperature in your camera to the Kelvin that you like. Of course, there's a variation, right? There's 3600, 4000, 4500, 5600. They all change. So you have to say, okay, I want to do it at that. Here we are going to make photography easy in this channel, so we don't need to get into numbers. Just remember this thing. Early in the morning is blue. In the afternoon, it's kind of white light. And in the evening, it's orangish. That's all you need to remember. Now, are there different variations in the camera? Yeah, I wish there were only three, but there aren't. You don't have to play with all of them. So that is what white balance is. White balance is you, the photographer, telling your camera at what time of the day you are shooting, so it can make the white white, and that is it. Now, that said, if the white becomes white in your photograph, everything else will fall into place. Means your photograph is going to be neutralized, correct? Now, I necessarily don't like the word neutralized. I necessarily don't always neutralize my images, but I'm going to tell you that in point number three, because why do I have to neutralize? Am I not the artist here? Am I not the one who is supposed to create the mood, the emotion? Take a look at this image. This is Ijaz telling the camera this is shot in the morning. This is how the image comes out. When I come back to the studio, I change it to make it look the way it's looking right now. Take a look at this one. Look at this one. Did I neutralize these? No, I did not. There's no reason for you to neutralize it. If in your world you want to show something the way you see it, there's no need to neutralize something. This, and this one, none of them are neutralized. So this brings us to point number 2. Should we shoot it in JPEG or should we shoot it in RAW? Which file format supports the changing of your white balance best? You don't have to be 100% accurate in camera if you're shooting in RAW. If you are shooting in JPEG, you are going to have a bigger challenge to get your image in post-production neutralized. That's if you want to neutralize. The advantages of JPEG, you save a lot of time and also a lot of disk space. The advantages of RAW is basically you get to keep every single thing that the camera has seen in the pixels, and you can change and move things around, and the pixels are going to change, and it's a non-destructive way of working. If you're shooting it in RAW, it becomes easier to neutralize your photograph in post. So that said, how it affects white balance. The white balance is easily done in RAW compared to JPEG. So should you shoot JPEG or RAW? I'm going to say you can shoot either one of them. I personally shoot RAW. It makes my life a little bit easier. So let's move on to point number 3, which I think is the most important part. So here's something I'm going to tell you guys. You may call me lazy, but do you know what my camera sits at? I never ever shoot auto. I always put my Kelvin temperature to 5600K and it lives there. The camera comes to my hand, in my hand, a brand new camera. I don't put it on auto, I put it on 5600K and it lives there. Now whether I'm shooting that in the morning or whether I'm shooting that in the evening or in the afternoon, it doesn't really matter. I leave it at 56. If I'm shooting fashion, awesome. If I'm shooting wildlife, awesome. It is at 5600K. That is it. No changes. Why? Because I shoot in RAW. I'm sure you can get the same results in JPEG as well, but I shoot that in RAW. And here is another reason why I do that. When I bring it in post, I want to create white balance mood, right? Now I'm talking about the white balance in your computer, in your software, in Photoshop, in Capture One. I don't use Lightroom, I use Capture One. Take a look at this image. I shot it on a cloudy day of the trumpeter swan. It was grayish. I moved my slider towards the blue of the white balance. Now take a look at this image. I photographed this in the Arctic of the Arctic wolf. It was a sunny day in the Arctic. The things were a little bit more on the whitish side, but I wanted that gray feel, so I moved my slider. Now, is it neutral? No, it's not. Is the trumpeter swan neutral? By far not. How do I use that in black and white? Take a look at this image. This is not a color image, right? How did I use my color temperature in this? I moved my slider towards green. Why? Because in the red, blue, green arena, RGB, green is the most dominant. And I wanted to pull out all these colors, so I pushed it towards green, then I converted into black and white. So white balance, important. It doesn't have to be neutralized. You don't have to go with a gray card and do this and do that and whatever. As an artist, you need to think, what mood are you trying to achieve? What mood does your audience want from you? Once you have determined that, then you slide your white balance in the computer the way you feel fit, or in the camera the way you feel fit. I don't do much of white balance in the camera. I don't. 5600K stays there, lives there. I know before I go for a shoot where I want my mood to be. I don't want to neutralize things. I am an artist. I like to create things. And if I have to neutralize my images all the time, I might as well just use my iPhone. What do I need a camera for? It takes a pretty damn good photograph. I don't need to be creative. But no, I want to be creative because that gives me a high. And here she comes. And here she comes. call. Oh my God. Got it. So I want to be creative, and in order for me to be creative, I use the creative tool that's white balance, that is so underutilized. It's just absolutely insane. And yes, you can use white balance in black and white as well to enhance your black and white. You can. I do it all the time. All right, those are the 3 things, guys, that I think you guys should know about white balance. There are many other things, but 10 minutes is up. I can't go more. My editor is going to kick my butt if I do, because they want me to be 10 to 12 minutes. We just don't speak much. Okay, I hope this was really helpful to you guys. Use white balance as a creative tool. Please, it will help your photography and take it to a next level. I'll speak to you guys soon. Thank you.